Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui is emerging as a strong factor around Raila Amolo Odinga. What is Lee Kinyanjui's game plan? In this video today, I want us to dissect Lee Kinyanjui's game plan for 2022. But before we do that, I have some news, which is not very good news, actually sad news. For those who've been following this channel, I've always talked about my dad, who has been unwell. He passed on yesterday. And let me say rest. I'll give you briefs about other programs later. For those who follow me on Facebook, those who have their contacts, I'll give a brief about the whole thing. But he passed on. And I know the frequency of our production will go down. And my team will have a lot of say on what I'm going to analyze on this channel, only when necessary. So you guys will bear with me. If you don't see me, you'll know where I am. Now, let us get back to this. And by the way, I'm doing this video specifically because yesterday, just before I could start doing it, I received a phone call that he had passed on. And I just left him in the hospital like 2 hours earlier. But that's a story for another day. It's not for this. Let us look at Lee Kinyanjui. Lee Kinyanjui is today emerging as a serious factor around Raila Amolo Odinga. And most Kenyans, especially those who support Raila Amolo Odinga, are now considering Lee Kinyanjui as a potential running mate to Raila Amolo Odinga in 2022. For me, I want to be honest. I never thought that Lee Kinyanjui, the Nakuru governor, would one time or one day be a factor around Raila Amolo Odinga. When Raila Odinga launched his roadmap to 2022, which is the Azimio la Umoja, the event was hosted in Nakuru by Lee Kinyanjui. Last week alone, Raila Odinga had a successful trip of Nakuru County. That success was attributed to none other than Lee Kinyanjui. What is his game plan? Before we go into his game plan, we need to understand who is Lee Kinyanjui. And Lee Kinyanjui, according to the information they posted on their Facebook page, on their county page, which is nakuru.go.ke, about Lee Kinyanjui, it says, His Excellency Honorable Governor Lee Kinyanjui is a graduate of Kenyatta University and the University of Nairobi. He is a holder of a master's degree in business administration and a master's degree in international relations. He worked in private sector for over 10 years before joining politics and was elected MP for Nakuru town in 2007. During his tenure as a member of parliament, Mr. Kinyanjui also served as an assistant minister for roads in the Grand Coalition government between 2008 and 2013. And it is during this time when Nakuru town was ranked as the fastest growing town in East and Central Africa by UN Habitat. In September 2013, President Uhuru Kenyatta appointed Kinyanjui as the chairman of the National Transport and Safety Authority. After a stint of 3 years at the helm of NTSA, he left to vie for Nakuru governorship and captured the seat in August 2017 general election. What they've not covered is that in 2013, Lee Kinyanjui also contested as a gubernatorial candidate in Nakuru County, but he was defeated by Kinudhia Mbugua. For those who follow politics closely, Kinudhia Mbugua is currently working at State House as the State House controller. And before that, he was the police commandant, I think AP, who was credited for ensuring that President Mwai Kibaki retained his seat in 2007. So 2013 he was actually rewarded. But what is Lee Kinyanjui's game plan? That's the question. Lee Kinyanjui's game plan is very simple, because in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. There is no way Lee Kinyanjui can just wake up and start supporting Raila Odinga. There must be something he's going to benefit by associating with Raila Odinga. So in my considered opinion, Lee Kinyanjui has a very clear game plan for 2022. Number one is the Nakuru gubernatorial race. Let's face it, Jubilee as a political party almost died or is dead. Then there is the emergence of the United Democratic Alliance Party and Susan Kihika in Nakuru town. Susan Kihika is the preferred gubernatorial candidate. That's the candidate William Ruto is going to give the UDA certificate in Nakuru County. So where does that put Lee Kinyanjui? It puts Lee Kinyanjui with very limited options. So the options which is left for Kinyanjui is to figure out how he can defeat Susan Kihika. And this is why he's associating with Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga has solid support in Nakuru County. Although they might not be significant, but that support is what Lee Kinyanjui is looking for. Let me take you to 2000 and let me take you to 2013, because those are the only figures you can get from IBC. In 2013, President Uhuru Kenyatta got 494,000 votes in Nakuru. Raila Odinga at the same time garnered 105,000 votes, which means Lee Kinyanjui is looking at those votes which Raila Odinga got. Because the fact is, President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto used ICC and they launched it in Nakuru. So the people of Nakuru at that time decided to vote for President Uhuru Kenyatta. But the reality is that those who supported Raila Odinga, or those who supported Raila Odinga from, let's say, Western Kenya, Kisii, decided to leave. And that's why Raila Odinga got 105. How is this going to help him? Very simple. Assuming Raila Odinga has 105,000 votes in Nakuru today, because Lee Kinyanjui is associating with Raila Odinga, his support base will definitely support his bid. So we'll start with that advantage. And that's the strategy which the Uasin Gishu governor Mandago used in the last election. He even attended, he publicly endorsed kind of ODM party, and he managed it. So basically, those are the votes Lee Kinyanjui is looking at. The Kisii votes, the Luo votes, the Luhya votes, the coastal votes, those who are in Nakuru, the Waria votes. Then he will now compete with Susan Kihika with the rest of the votes. So that is his first game plan. Number two, I also tend to think that Lee Kinyanjui is actually raising his stakes. Is Lee Kinyanjui related to Daniel Toroitich arap Moi? That's the question. If it's related to Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, could Lee Kinyanjui be the person President Uhuru Kenyatta is promoting on behalf of the former president Daniel Toroitich arap Moi? Or is it Gideon Moi? Those are questions. The fact that Lee Kinyanjui has been associating very closely with Raila Odinga, it means he has become a factor. And that's even why we are discussing him here. Because if Lee Kinyanjui was not a factor, there was no way we were going to discuss him here. So he has put himself in a level where you can't ignore Lee Kinyanjui. So I think he's used it strategically to raise his stakes. So it means tomorrow Lee Kinyanjui might decide I'm dumping Raila Odinga. What will Raila Odinga do? Nothing. But already he has stakes. Number three could be traced to the relationship he had between 2007 and 2013 during the Grand Coalition government. Maybe he worked with Raila Odinga And he understands the person Raila Amolo Odinga. And because of that past working relationship could be the reason why Lee Kinyanjui is working tirelessly to ensure that Raila Odinga becomes the president of the Republic of Kenya. In the hope that should Raila Odinga become the president, even if he's going to lose the Nakuru gubernatorial seat, then he will still have a chance in politics in this country. So I think it has to do with the working relationship between Raila and Lee Kinyanjui during the Grand Coalition government. And that's why they are working closely. Number 4, in my view, I think Lee Kinyanjui also fears something. That Kinuvia Mbogwa, who is a close ally of President Uhuru Kenyatta, could actually be positioning himself to be the next governor for Nakuru, which means he will easily edge out Lee Kinyanjui, politically speaking. So what can Lee Kinyanjui do? Look for Raila Amolo Odinga, do things for him, make him believe in you, makes his supporters trust you. Then, if anything goes wrong, he can even get the support of Raila Amolo Odinga and its party, the ODM party. And lastly, could be running mate. Who should be Raila Odinga's running mate in 2022? Maybe we need to look at that again. But Lee Kinyanjui is a politician, and all these politicians have ambitions. Maybe one of his ambitions is to become Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, he must position himself strategically around Raila Amolo Odinga. Do you think Lee Kinyanjui cannot become the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya? He can. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. And again, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support. Without that support, this channel cannot be where it is today. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.